Hello everyone, today I wanted to look at DELPHI. I wanted to look at, I've got several questions and several editions of this, and I've got the dog here. I wish I could show you. I locked him out for the first recording and now he just wants stroking. So, you know, in my readings, if you've not seen them, I was only pulled to this case because of the injustice that's happening to Richard Allen. And overall, I don't know if they shouldn't really get away with what they're doing. In addition to that, before even the trial, I was saying the judge was very set in her ways. And I think during the trial and just before, during, the defense was getting a lot of no's, no to this, no to third party, no to extension. And I do think that the prosecution was messing around, especially with the timings of delivering stuff. And I had to download that the prosecution still has stuff that's not handed over to the defense, despite the defense saying they wanted it. And something else that the defense said hand over, they said they don't have any more, they're destroyed. And I feel like some of it's recordings, but I do feel like some of it could be letters, like documents. So hopefully you've seen the readings, and I want to do a few coverage on this. So whether you think Richard Allen is guilty, innocent, or you just don't know, let's walk through and let's see where we get to, because I'm open to changing, because my reading was card reading and what I was channeling through. I believe that Richard Allen is guilty of being at the bridge, and that's why the guilt is coming through. I believe he's guilty of certain beliefs around paganism. I don't believe he exed these girls. And one of the things I was thinking is that I recall on the snap that they'd mentioned that you can listen carefully and you can hear a pew pew sound. Now that was never, I don't know if any of you can hear that. I can't hear it. And certainly in that snap edition that I just did, they definitely tried to waver the public to think that Libby was recording the kill ER as opposed to just recording Abby on the bridge. And then they were like, there's no way around this, there's no way to get down. That whole palaver, and I think it's still out there unless people have seen the video I've covered. So I would check that out and join the journey. Please let me know what cases you're interested in. And if you do think he's guilty, we'll stick around and let's see if, in the least, do you agree that there should have been reasonable doubt? So I've got some questions here. Firstly, I want to see, I believe that there was some parties or someone that did a confession that they did this. So I want to pull cards on, I think I remember it was Ron Logan or Keegan Klein that said they did something or did this, and I think it was Keegan Klein. And so when this was stated, was the confession investigated? So let's see, was a confession that Keegan Klein stated he did this, was this actually properly investigated? I didn't ask what cards do I want. Let's try again. I get yes, but there's something that it's more on they were deterred by the sex things that they found. So I don't know if he's the guy that was convicted for something for sex, but that's what I get. I get the strength card and the King of Wands. So their investigation into Keegan Klein when this confession was that they found inappropriateness. However, something around that misled them towards Bridge Guy. Okay. Let's ask if Ron Logan and I don't believe it was Ron Logan, but I am going to look into this separately. I'm going to tell you who I believe it was, as well as one name that's not there already. Ron Logan was looked into for the actual X thing, so they didn't deter because of sex. However, there's some money here involved. There's something around money that's involved. We've got the Knight of Swords, we've got the Pentacles, and we've got the Fool card, right? What stopped them from thinking it's Ron Logan is that he was not on the bridge, but it seems he was in the timeline near there. There's something around that. And I am actually going to cover this because I think he the download I get is that he narrated a story, which I want to ask, does that mean he knew what was happening? Because I don't think he did it, but I need to tap in on whether he knew about it. If you go back to my readings, there's more than one involved here. Okay. And there's a lot of false statements. There's a timeline issue. There's confessions, you know, whether it's Keegan, whether it's Ron or whoever in this. So the whole needing to speed up the case, get justice in the system, and the system convict someone, not investigating properly things and people that should have been investigated, mistakes made around phone data, I believe, as well. All those are things that, if anything, should make you think that this was not a fair trial. This was not fairly investigated. And I'm getting those from my past readings. So where the defense currently motions to appeal, have they been denied by Judge Gould? Yeah. It seems like there's one thing that she's eased on, she's holding back from, but she's so like, no, straight in with, you know, the slam dunk with her answers. So what I get with that is she 100% thinks Richard Allen is the guy. But even before that, she wasn't, and even before the trial, I feel like that's what she felt. But also, like I said, which will never be spoken, there's a pressure to convict someone for this case and get it closed, because it really shook the state. So she's denied the motions to appeal, but there might be something where she's considering. So is she being fair to just deny the motions of appeal? No, because the motions to appeal back and forth is not highlighting the absolute detailed truth. It doesn't highlight everything. So it's like, I'm appealing for this, but it's not giving you the full details unless they're able to like present in a trial everything. So I get it. It's not actually fair that she's just denying it. So I guess, I don't know if I said this before, it goes to appellate court, and I don't know if we've got dates around this. Is it because she's always believed Rich Allen is the guy, which that's what I get strongly from her, but also even stronger, the justice system that need to prosecute someone. Yes, she believes and doesn't waver without a doubt that it is him, and she doesn't think that there's any other party, especially not a younger person, involved in this. Now remember, I believe Abby is the target, and Abby was going to go meet somebody, and I think they didn't like she the whole boyfriend and stuff, some of the paganism, which I believe I get is part of the paganism thoughts. I've got a word here, and it says to check and refer to my other reads for the reasons, but I don't know what I've written. So was Ron Logan, even if he was investigated, was he cleared? We got the money card there that seemed to stop something. Was he absolutely cleared? He was cleared because there was an alibi by someone else in terms of his time frames. And it seems like again we get this younger person, and it seems like there's a belief that there was a younger person. The judge didn't believe it was this younger person. Partially, which is why I pulled cards. The reason why he was cleared was also because they couldn't keep him open because he passed away, so they couldn't keep it as him to get what they call justice, prosecute someone, because he had passed away. So I get my Sun card here, and there's the deception of it, and there's the celebration of prosecution. Okay, so it's like the justice are like, we're not looking, or the prosecution, we're not looking at anything that doesn't fit at what we say. And that's totally wrong. That's why there is a trial. I wonder what the statistics are of a 50-plus-year-old person that suddenly becomes like they say it's sex motive, a pedo, and commits a double Xing in broad daylight with no red flags or convictions in the past. Surely that's a big question mark. Now we know that he was in extended isolation in prison. He was not allowed to see Kathy, and you can see that really broke him down even more. And I'm going to go into the phone calls on that. You see the investigation and the interrogation, and he even says that I'm willing to say whatever they want just for them to back down, and so that you're okay. He was also moved recently to Oklahoma, and there's absolutely no news why he's moved on that. And I believe when people get moved to a certain extent, with it being their safety, they do have a say in it. So that's also in Oklahoma, right, really, really far from Delphi. So are they playing again a game where disconnecting him from Kathy, but now it's so in the open they can't just do what they were doing? Remember, he went straight to prison. I think jail comes before prison, and he went straight to the second tier, and in direct isolation. Well, that's not a presumption of innocence. So I think, you know, his human rights, his civil rights, definitely, um, with everything that was done, he was going mad. He was basically eating poop and hot sauce. And people say to fake psychosis. And I think people forget that psychosis is not a constant state. Obviously, there probably are cases like that, but you do get cases where psychosis, you do drift in and out. And I said in the reads, and this is why Spirit pushed me to do this, is because I'd seen before it all came out that what was happening to him. And then it slowly came out. And then there was 2 interviews where I feel that he was a bit different in both of them, but he did not portray guilt in the interrogation. Um, and I felt this before, but I'm getting it now, that his safety and stability really relied on contact with his wife. So even just seeing his wife would have helped him stay sane. Let's see. He never faked psychosis. I don't have a confirmation for me that he faked psychosis. So he wasn't faking psychosis, like was said. What about when he signed certain documents? Was he insane mind, or did he sign some not being himself? So was he in a sane himself mind when signing any important documents while in prison? Okay, so I have some yes, but there was lies and there was deception. We've got Page of Swords, we've got the Knight of Swords, and we've got the Moon card. So they were hiding certain things, and it seemed like it depended on his day. So some days, you remember, and I'm getting this coming through, you know, like the wheel is up and down, isn't it? So it's kind of like if it was his good day, he did. But it seems like with the Page of Swords, Knight of Swords, that there was a lack of transparency. And the Knight of Swords in reverse, there's a word that comes with that. There's definitely deceitful energy here, and we've got it with the moon. So unfortunately, again, I don't think he was all in his right mind all the time when he signed that. And I definitely think there was something hidden that he, you know, something that was added later, the translation or the understanding of him doing that. So I asked about, did they try to stop him from seeing his lawyers as much as possible? And that's a no. And what I'm getting from Spirit is that, did they try to make it as difficult as possible as opposed to did they try to stop it. And I get here the main thing that affected him was not having the connection with Kathy's home. So let's ask that in what Spirit said for me to phrase that. Oh, I forgot. Did they try to make it difficult as possible as opposed to stop it? Major. See if my major card comes out. Yes, Hanged Man's what I wanted to, you know, like stop it, stall it. And we get a yes. Hanged Man, the Six of Wands, and the Page of Pentacles, delivering the documents. So yes, they tried to make it as difficult as possible for him to see his lawyers. And I wonder why there's no repercussion of the human or the civil rights so far. Is it because the defense need to file it and they want to do the appeal first? I don't know if it's a different lawyer that would do that. Maybe if he doesn't win their appeal, they're going to try and fight it. He'll try and get the lawyer, but at the moment it's kind of like if he wins, the case is just going to leave it. Because rules and rights mean nothing when the people of power make them. And I see this so much, like, you know, you do the rules, you follow the government rules or whatever, yet the people who make them also break them and manipulate, pretending you're not following them, or, you know, blah blah blah, I can't hear your reasoning, etc. Well, you don't get anywhere. So are they considering to file this at a later stage? It seems so far that could be there's a looking into it, there's a researching into it, and what the truths of like the outcome is. By that, what I mean is, what's the success outcome of this, and will it be worth it? Will it, in the whole process, will it impact him and his family even more? Like, so if he won the case, for example, it seems like they're looking into it. But did he get the DEATH penalty, by the way? Because I'm getting some, I can't remember that. Yeah, so I'm going to leave this here. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm not really sure what I should call this thumbnail. I'll think about it. Take care, stay blessed, and bye for now.